You said you re-emphasize the issue. That is, state that statement from the question.
Okay, so let's re-emphasize. So what was the requirement? I said do question number A and what? A and what? And B. And whenever you hear of principal audit risk, what are we talking about? What are you talking about?
Those risks.
Okay, what type of risk are we talking about when you hear principal audit risk?
Business risk,
financial statement risk.
Okay, and whenever you hear recommend controls, what are you talking about?
So spam.
Thank you very much. So you shouldn't even duplicate efforts when it comes to this work. This is the simplest you can get. When we start hitting you harder with comment on the matter, comment on the issue, what will be this? When we get there, it will be fine though, but I want to start from this gradually so that we'll build on. Is that clear? Very well. So let's start with the principal audit risk. Listen carefully. You can link them, but don't try to state more than one risk in one paragraph. So let's read. Someone should read for me. Start from paragraph 1. Yeah. Paragraph 1.
Oman, can I read?
Yes, please read.
Okay. So Oman Penny Co started to offer. You have to start reading from where you have highlighted.
Yes, that's from reading from that side. The first issue gives us an overview, Keke.
Okay, sure. Oman Penny Co main source of revenue is from monthly membership fees. Members are billed in advance of the start of their monthly membership, and revenue is recognized when the bill is sent to the customer, all of whom pay by credit card. The price of a regular subscription.
Pause there. I want to re-emphasize. So I'll pick this one. What do you see here? What risk do you see here? You're supposed to see 2 types of risk. What risk do you see here? What risk do you see here? We shouldn't go back.
See, the financial risk there.
And what risk again?
Operational.
Then the operational.
You are talking about, I said, when it comes to principal risk, we are talking about all the risk. But since you have seen financial here, you can talk about financial. Is that clear? You can talk about financial. So you lift this whole issue, re-emphasize. You lift this whole issue. So those who are stating, talking about something altogether, you left this whole issue. Or you can take a phrase. I can say that members are billed in advance. It can be a phrase. Do you get it? Hello, are you catching a revelation?
Sure.
Please.
Are you catching a revelation?
Yes,
sure.
man.
So members are billed in advance. That would be my wedding. Or I'll pick this whole issue on my penny company then card up to this point. Up to the green point. Then I will start. Then I will start by explaining that this will lead to what? Financial risk. Because I hope you guys are listening. This will lead to financial risk because since all payments are being done in advance, okay, money received, one, can't be accounted for properly, then I will link it to IFRS 15, which is what? Revenue from where? Revenue from where?
Contracts.
Contracts with customers.
The valuation of IFRS 15, if you don't know the standard, don't worry. You say that revenue, okay, will be overstated or understated because of payment being done in what? In advance. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Sure. Yes, sir.
Again, calculation of revenue for the year will be a problem. Calculation for revenue for the year will also be what? A problem, or will be what? A challenge. We are stating risk. Because then you pick the last aspect. They're saying that this year, Omanpenny introduced what? A new what? Subscription what? Package. First statement gone, dusted. Let's go to the next one. So have you seen that I've spoken about two risks here? I've spoken about over and understatement of what revenue and linked it to what financial what risk. You can even either talk about the financial risk alone. Is that clear? Pamis, your hand is up. What is your question?
Sir, please, can you tell colleagues to put off their video? It's distracting us.
Oh man, is it not a way to this? Don't you have a way to disable the camera entirely from everybody?
Okay, I'll check that. It's because I don't use one Zoom account. I keep on changing the Zoom account. That's the reason why. Let me try and off them. I can off them from my end. Or I can make someone the co-host, then the person can be doing that.
I think from the onstart you can just take off that function so that when anyone joins, it doesn't.
Sorry for two.
But they themselves should off the videos. They themselves should be able to off the videos.
Some of them don't even realize it. That's fine.
Okay, so let's continue. Let's continue. So building up, this is how you are going to answer the question. We are going to solve a lot of past questions though, but if you get the basis from here, this question, we are going to run through this question so we end this topic. Exactly. So let's pick the second one. The second one, the same thing. Read, Joyce, read. It says that.
Okay. For several years, Omampeni has operated an annual incentive scheme for staff, under the terms of which employees are eligible to receive an annual incentive.
Pause there. I can pick that wording. Remember that I said re-emphasize. I can pick that wording, or I can pick a phrase out of that by saying that operating an annual incentive for staff, which can also lead to what? Operational risk. Is it clear? It can lead to operational risk. You can also pick the whole issue, the whole entire issue. Then you start what? Explaining it against what? Operational risk. If staff, okay, do not meet the target, read. It says if staff do not meet the target, okay, they will be what? Demotivated. Do you remember the internal risk we did talk about? Do you remember? They will be demotivated, which will also try, and it can also lead to what? Customer dissatisfaction. Because the employee, do you remember that when I was explaining this, I told you that for me, the customer is not right. Because if the employee is not treated nicely, it will transcend into what? The customer. And you remember me saying that someone is pregnant and he said the person is supposed to be a teller. The person is frustrated already. Why do you say that person is supposed to be a teller? If you do anything small, it will trigger a whole lot of issues. Is that clear? Is that clear? So I can pick that word then, explain what I'm talking about. Okay, Madam Tina. Madam Tina.
And
I hope you are catching the revelation.
yes, I'm doing. I am.
Okay. Then the next one. In the year what?
Okay.
In
So
January what?
in January 20X5, a legal case was initiated against Omampeni by Glen Company,
So
a
pause
film
there.
production company.
Don't worry, pause there. I can pick that wording. In January, that a legal case, and a legal case is supposed to give you something, supposed to give you a financial statement risk and operational risk. Compliance risk is operational risk is also operational. Copyright. Copyright is also here. Do you get it? Of license. So they can't also operate. Do you get it? And can't you see understatement and overstatement of liability?
Yeah.
Can't you see that?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Man, can we talk about reputation, since you are going to the courts and reputation risk too?
Okay.
Since you are the courts.
Yes,
and
you can.
There's a case against you.
You can. So someone did the work very nicely, and I was so excited. Do you get it? That is how you are going to do the work. You're not going to do audit. Is very simple and practical. Audit, you're not going to write English. Audit is very simple and practical. I won't do the rest again. Have you seen grant here? Which standard talks about grant? Who can tell me? Which standard talks about grant?
IAS
20.
20.
And grant is what? Is it asset or liability?
This grant is
This one is assets.
This one is asset.
Yes.
Okay. So if it's asset, you talk about how do you call it? Under or over the rest. You talk about it. Okay. You can even take here. You can even take valuation of what license, how they will value licenses as a wedding. Then you talk about it. It's either you re-emphasizing, picking something from what the case, then you talk about it. Do you remember what we did the first time when we were working through the ICAG manual? It said a phrase or a word. A phrase or a word. And I'm saying that if you don't want to duplicate effort, you just pick the whole statement, then try and what? Link them. Who don't understand? Yes, please.
Please, the legal issue, the legal case. I think with the financial statement, provision should be made for that legal case in accordance with the IAS 37.
Yes. Pause there, Ben. Don't continue. We don't want to impress the examiner so much that if you deviate from the standard, it become a challenge. So you just say that since legal case will be what? A contingent liability. Okay, a contingent liability, which is IAS 37. If you don't know the standard itself, you know that I told you that for some standards you need to know when it comes to this paper. And you get one standard, which is very difficult and you don't know. But I'll tell you how you go about it. Last night, it was IFRS 3 and 10. Now, they are above for audit. Do you get it? So I'll tell you the things, the requirements. Okay, comment on this, what you need to do. I'll tell you the things you need to do. Then you just put the standard somewhere and it will help you. So then, not to impress the examiner so much and you even deviate from how to value contingent liability, you tell the examiner that you are saying principal audit. Tell the examiner that there will be an over or understatement of what? Liability. Is that clear? Is that clear? Then you try to talk about those issues in the case. I won't continue again. Let me do. I hope you are now catching a revelation. I hope what we have done is fair. It's left with 2 minutes. I hope it's fair.
Sir.
Who don't understand what we are doing? Who don't understand? With the exception of those who joining me for the first time. With the exception of those joining me for the first time who don't understand. Okay. Can we do recommendation? Joyce, read B. It says that.
Come again?
Read B.
Okay. Recommend 2 controls that a company should have in place to reduce the risks associated with the online platform.
Thank you very much. I will teach you this, but I will teach you computer in what? That. But let me use SOSPAM. Here, we are recommending controls. And I'm saying that whenever you are here recommend controls, use what? SOSPAM. Very simple. SOSPAM. X is what? Segregation of duty. So here, I will talk about, let me put segregation of duties somewhere. Let me talk about authorization. It's online platform. So let me talk about authorization. The data, okay, for input should be authorized by someone before what inputs. Control measure is there. Okay, there's supposed to be what? An authorization. So in your workplace, there's supposed to be a password. Someone's supposed to operate the system. So authorization, then we talk about authorization. How authorization will be what? A control measure. Second one, I'll talk about accuracy. Whenever we are inputting everything on what? On the online platform, someone's supposed to check if the computer software is what? Valid. The data is what? Valid. Before input is being what? Done. Accuracy is part of a SOSPAM. Ezegoma. Okay. I didn't know any. She not in the inside. She is you trying to go through, listening to the videos and practicing them, because some of you guys are even doing audit already. Any question? So question number D, we will answer question number D today. You answer D, but the rest, as we build on, we come and answer them. As we build on, we come and answer them. Is that clear?
Yes.
Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's fair.
Okay. So let's move on. Yes, please. Is the person asking a question? So whenever you hear, you just write it somewhere. Whenever you hear recommend controls, you are doing so spam. They use so spam. Whenever you hear principal audit, you are doing 3 things: business risk, principal financial statement risk, and analytical review. Analytical review, we haven't done that one. So you pause on that one, then you do the 2. Exactly. When we add on that, I'll also show you the thing to do under audit procedure. Whenever you hear audit procedure, okay, don't worry. So if no other issues, we have really controlled time. Let's switch in between.
I have a question.
Ask me.
Please, what's the meaning of SOSPAM? I'm sure it's an acronym.
Yes. Is that Lizzie?
Yes.
Where have you been all this while? Last week, did you join?
No, I couldn't join.
Did you listen
I
to
traveled.
Have you listened to the video?
No, you did it right. You treated it.
You answer my question, then I'll also answer yours.
No, I couldn't listen.
Okay. Then try and do, okay. Otherwise,
Okay.
because it fits into what you're coming to do today. Okay. Can someone tell you the full meaning of SOSPAM?
You leave Lizzie for me. I'll do it.
Man,
Please, who
Collins
is
to
it?
take care of her. Collins to take care of her.
Okay.
But Collins is not here.
Collins is here. He's saying that you take care of you.
All right.
Okay. So let's move on, brothers and sisters. Yes, we are still under audit plan, and we are treating what strategic what. Today I'm not writing it.
Hello, I'm paying good evening, please.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us we just joining for the very please. The SOSPAM, okay. If
someone has dropped
it has been highlighted. Yes,
okay.
Someone has dropped it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Let's move on. So those who are joining me for the first time, please, what you are coming to do is a linkage. So go and watch the video. Then, okay, you can flow. Sunday we are meeting. Sunday we are meeting at 6 a.m. and it's going to be a continuation. I want us to finish the syllabi early so that as we did last night, then we take every past question. Then we try to walk it through our own way, okay, without going through the solution, our own way, if it makes sense. Okay, I hope it will be fine.
Sure.
Okay, that has been my approach. I'll finish everything. We walk through past questions. Okay, these are the questions supposed to be done. Do you get it? Okay, so let's move on. This is what we did. I told you that when it comes to audit strategy, okay, and not strategic, strategy, we are still under audit plan. Audit strategy, it is the selection of what approach which will affect audit what evidence. And what is audit evidence? That is what procedures and what proof. Is that clear? Then the report itself. The strategy that we are going to take will affect our audit evidence and the report. And what are some of the types of audit approach? The first one we did was what? The system-based what? Approach. And what is system-based approach? It focused on what? Internal controls. Whenever you hear internal controls, we have an element of what? Internal what? Controls. Control environment, that is the tone at the top. How do the leadership behave? Their attitude. Can the CFO of a company buy car for a national service personnel and say that the national service personnel stays far from what? The workplace? So the lady is supposed to commute using what? The car. Do you get it? What is their behavior? And if the lady is doing service back to society, the man will say that he wants to go for what? The Honda Civic. Do you get it? How do they behave? How do they also take information? How do they do risk assessment? Whenever you hear risk assessment, what comes into mind? Risk assessment. What comes into mind?
Business risk.
Okay. Risk. Business risk and financial statements risk. Okay. The next approach 2. Listen carefully. This normally comes in exams. So listen to this one carefully. this approach is two. We call it substantive testing or test of details. And this one, you know, from your, how do you call it, your degree time, right? We are testing details. So I told you that accountants are from God. So since accountants are from God, if you don't try to test details, okay, they will do income smooching. They will do a whole lot of stuff. So when you say test of details, what are we doing? We are doing assessment of what? Management. Listen carefully. We are doing assessment. We should follow, my board is not around. It will come, I think, roughly, someone has come for it, so I'll write by Sunday there, it will be in, so that I will start writing. I hope it's fair. I hope it's fair. Your response will be good as mine.
Oh, somehow.
We take it like that.
Okay, assertion of management. We are doing assertion of what? Management. Let's take it carefully. It means that we are doing assertion of what? Management. And we do assertion on what? Two bases. We do assertion on what? Two bases. The first one is what? Transaction and events. We do assertion. Assertion one is what? Transaction and event. And event. The next one that we also do, we call it account balances. Account balances. So we want to we are going to expand it here, and how you are going to see it in what? In a nice question form. Transaction and event. This is being done for P&L. Listen carefully. So whenever you hear any question and say that we should do assertion, and the element relates to P&L, then we are doing what? Transaction and event. What are some of the items that comes under transaction and what? Event? What assertion are we doing when it comes to transaction and event? We are doing one. Come again. We are doing one. Occurrence. Occurrence. We want to check whether the sales, all the element on the financial statement, it occurred. So when you pick sales, we are doing audit, and we are using this approach, assertions of management. That is you testing what? Details. You pick the P&L. Now, how do you call the P&L? Your friend is saying income statement.
Statement of profit and loss.
Statement of profit and loss.
Statement of comprehensive income and expenditure.
Okay, so when you pick that element, all the items on the face of that P&L, you check, you use what? Transaction and event. You check whether it occurred. So you are auditing revenue. They are saying that their sales for the month or for the year is 50,000. You check the occurrence. Is it true that the sales really occurred? How do you check occurrence? You check occurrence through the invoice being raised to the person, the sales day book, okay? All the element that links to what? To feed into what? The revenue. Please, do you get it? Do you get it? Hello, your response will be good as mine. Do you get it? Hey, Obian Kazamel. Oh, my microphone is not working.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's working.
Accuracy. The next one is what? Accuracy. Whether all items is what? Accurate. All items on the financial statement is accurate. Okay. We also do cutoff. What is cutoff? Cutoff is simply, we're supposed to see that the financial statement starts from where? If we are preparing a financial statement from January to December, okay, all elements supposed to be between January 1st to December what? 31st. There's supposed to be a cutoff. It's supposed to be within a certain lane. All items after this said activity supposed not to be accounted as part of what? This element. So it's supposed to be what? A cutoff. We are doing transaction and what? Event. Completeness. Completeness. They are all assertions.
Sir,
Yes, please.
please, the cutoff, does it mean like you are looking at things that happen within the year, like January to December? Is that what you mean? Because I thought cutoff, it means you are cutting something off.
Who is talking? Is that Doreen?
Yes, sir.
I hope all is well. Okay, so Collins, hey, Collins, your network is working. I'm not going to ask you any question, Collins. So respond, Collins. Collins, who said he will take care of someone? I'm calling you. He's not minding me. Okay, let me mention Joyce. Joyce.
Hello, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Doreen is saying that cut off means that you're supposed to cut something off. Okay. Explain cut off in accounting terms to Doreen.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So in audit, cut off basically means that it's like yeah, just checking to ensure that transactions have been recorded in the correct accounting periods. Basically, that's what I can see.
Okay,
That is so when you're performing cutoff, that is what you're ensuring. So, like, let's say if the client's financial period is from 1st January to 31st December, you're ensuring that after the period ended, transactions that relate to January 2022, that doesn't relate to the period that you're auditing, has not been included in that period. And then what should have been included has also been included. Basically, that's what cutoff is trying to address.
Doreen, do you understand?
Yeah, yes, please.
Okay, that is cutoff. Okay.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yes, we're supposed to record transactions. Let's think of it. We're supposed to record transactions, okay, within the correct reporting what period. So we are reporting for, as Joyce was saying, January to December. We are using our accrual basis, but it's supposed to relate, the transaction is supposed to relate to the year that we are doing. Cut off, not cutting cucumber or cutting something off. Exactly. Okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're
Joyce,
welcome.
thank you.
You're welcome, please.
Okay. Let's check this one there. Existence. Sometimes existence is supposed not to be here. So someone should check for me existence. If existence is part of that, let me put asterisk. I won't explain it here. Someone should check classification.
It's not part. It's classification.
It's not part.
It's not part, eh?
It's
Yes,
for
sir.
account
Let me
It's for
clarify.
account balance.
Okay. So classification, we're supposed to, Doreen, we're supposed to, when it comes to classification, we're supposed to make sure that we classify all items. Don't go and put revenue under different accounts, okay? Proper classification is supposed to be done. If this is being established, then we are doing what? Transaction and events. We are assessing what? Management. Based on this, we are testing, have you seen, it says test of details. Okay, very well. When it comes to account balances, what do? We do it for statement of financial position. And here we all know statement of financial position. What are we doing? Under this, what assertion do we supposed to do? The first one, we call it what? Rights and obligation. Rights and obligation. So Doreen, what is right and obligation? Rights means that this company has purchased an asset. We are doing account balances. Assets. You said you have this vehicle. What shows that you have the right to this vehicle? You need to provide us what? Doreen, what do you need to provide to the auditors to show that you have right over this vehicle?
The registration.
What registration?
Like the vehicle registration.
Vehicle registration, sir. What shows that you have
like the documents should show.
Exactly. The papers. If it's land title, you check all this. This shows that you have what right to what to the said asset. When it comes to obligation is for liability. Okay, are you liable to pay this loan? So if they have loan on their financials, what are you checking? What will you check? Joyce, what will you check? As an auditor, what will you check?
Come again?
I said on their financial statement, they have loan. What will be the document you check that this loan is what? An obligation for them?
Okay, the loan
Offer and accept. Offer and acceptance.
Okay, application, loan application letter, offer and acceptance, the money being released, the letter that the money went to, all these things. Is that clear?
Yeah, for the payment.
Okay, the next one is existence. So existence will be here, right? So nowadays, how do you spell existence? I'm in my computer no more. Okay. Existence.
The old spellings now.
Hey, Socrates, you are here.
Well, yes, today they have come.
Thank God. Let's move on. Okay, so existence. What is existence? We need to check if the items on the financial statement really exist. Hey, you can go for audit, and some people will tell you that they have a vehicle costing. If you take the asset schedule, okay, you take the asset schedule, you request for asset schedule, they will tell you that you have 5 cars. They have done valuation B, basa. Then they will tell you that. Do you know that one, I think, accounting guru is saying that now the companies are going to pay a lot of taxes in 2023. Do you know the reason why he was saying that? He argued from the point that now most of the companies do not keep proper books of what records. And since they don't keep proper books of records, when the GRA comes for tax audits, they are going to charge a lot of tax on the head of what the company. So because of what improper records being kept, most of the private companies will pay what a lot of what taxes. So you go for audit and you ask for asset schedule, when people will be asked, you need to verify. Oh, where is this car? And they will tell you, oh, this man sent this car to this place, and you can't, even as an audit, you need to check whether truly the asset that they are including in their financial really exists. The loans really exist. Okay, basically, that is assessing. Catch the revelation from here. Valuation and allocation. Valuation and what? Allocation. You remember that when we're doing the audit fees, remember when we're doing the audit fees, I said something. The things that's supposed to be included in the audit fee, the initial audit fee, I said something. These people supposed not to have an accounting background. What did I say? What did I say? I said something.
Expect.
Expect.
We are going to have, yeah, we will have expect to
do
the valuation.
Is that also Fulbright? Is also Fulbright?
Yes, please.
Okay, also for there, you need to sow a seed, so don't worry. Let's continue. So basically, valuation, okay, we need to also value, because you don't have the technical eye. Let's say you are doing building. It's your duty as an auditor to make sure that the building is being valued well. Because you can't do valuation of what the building, you hire what an expert, so that the expert will do what proper valuation and allocation. We allocate same to what the asset. The next one, it will be cut off. Here, they are not cutting someone's head. It's the same cut off there. Then occurrence. Occurrence will also be the same occurrence what there. Right. So basically, these are some of the assertions that we need to do. Let me switch in between. Then we read the question. Any question? Read the question, then we answer. Is that clear? Yes, please.
Occurrence is not there, but completeness is there.
Completeness, eh?
Yes.
Okay, let's check. Let's check for me. So completeness.
So all assets make sure that all assets has been recorded, all liabilities has been recorded.
Okay, thank you very much.
My brother.
You have watched it already.
Okay.
Forgiveness.
Let's move on. So let's solve that question. Let's solve the question number B. Okay, can someone read D? Oh, have I closed this? Oh. Okay, so Joyce, read the D.
Okay. It says that explain to assertion.
Okay, a question is there, Joyce, pause. A question is there,
Yes. I wanted to find out if you say assertion and auditing, what do you mean? I don't understand the word assertion and auditing.
Okay, assertion means that you are trying to like assess someone. You are trying to test details. Okay, you are going to marry. You are going to marry and you want to do assertion. You want to assess whether everything is correct. You test everything. You test everything. Testing everything doesn't mean that you're supposed to sleep with the person. Test everything. The way she cooks, the way she do you get it? So assertion is like you testing of details. Stephen, is that clear?
Okay. Yes.
So
Thank you very much. Thank you.
It is the duty of management to prepare financial statements. Do you know that?
Yes.
That's why we say assertion of what? Management. Because the financial statement was prepared by what? Management.
Oh, okay.
Okay, let's move on. My dear, read.
All right, thank you very much.
So it explains two assertions relevant to revenue
Hello,
at a year end.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Yeah, please let me ask my question there. Please, I want to know what materials are you reading from? Or because I don't seem to have any material.
Don't worry, everything will be shared. We are using our benchmark we are using the ICAG manual. Okay, we haven't shared any material. The ICAG manual that we are using.
So please, under what topic?
You just joined, eh?
Yes.
You just follow, okay? We are doing audits of historical financial statements. So just follow.
Thank you.
So that when you get to a point, you can be like linked in, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Is that intelligence man?
Intelligence. I asked the question.
This Noble Amagashi.
Okay. Okay, let's move on. Explain what?
Explain two assertions relevant to revenue at the year-end date.
So have you seen how the question we put, they will put the question? Have you seen it? Hello, have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay, so how are we going to answer that question? Joyce?
Cut-off and completeness.
Exactly. So here it says explain. It relates to revenue. Where will you see revenue?
The P&L.
Where will you see revenue? So you talk about
an event.
Yes, so transaction and events. So you talk about assertions and transaction and events. So the first one you say occurrence. Occurrence. We need to know whether truly the revenue was occurred.
Okay. Yes.
This is the things we are going to explain.
With the customers.
Exactly. This is what we are going to explain. Brothers and sisters, are you catching the revelation?
Yes.
The next one, you can see classification. Properly, is the accountant in business, has he properly clearly classified what items under what revenue? You can also talk about what cut-off.
Accuracy.
And you can talk about accuracy. He says 2, so talk about 2, then you are fine. I hope you are catching the revelation. Who don't understand? These are the things you are going to do. So whenever you see assertions, check the element that follows. Check the element that follows. Is it revenue? Is it relating to this? Is it relating to this? If it relates to this, you are good to go. Is that clear? You are good to go. Then you speak about those issues. So let me switch in between. The question I said that we will solve before we close. Let's read that one too and see.
A question, please.
Now talk to me.
Yeah, so like they said, you should mention 2. So under the transaction and events, what you did with us, you've given us I think 4.
So you mentioned 2 out of the 4.
2 out of these 4. Okay.
Then you explain.
Okay. Okay. So in explaining, if let's take for instance, I pick something like occurrence. When you are explaining, like, do you have like the English language that you gave to us this evening? You said check whether the items in the P&L really okay.
Yes.
So is that the same thing that you?
You can write that. You are just explaining whether this assertion is really occurred, or if those if you are picking classification, check whether we have classified what all the elements that's supposed to be under payables or the receivables. Is that clear?
Okay.
Let's read the second, the I. You'll solve this question before you close. Read I. Joyce, read I.
Explain 2 assertions relevant to accounts payable at the year-end date.
So where will you see accounts payable?
Accounts balance.
Account balance.
Account balance. So what will be the assertions?
So we can look at
Existence. We check whether the payable really exists. Whether the payables really exist. They are not ghost payables. So this is basically the things you are going to do. Why didn't I say? I've taken my time. Okay. I really talk fast, but I've taken my time. Who don't understand the assertions that we did? Okay, very good. Have you seen, there's a past question, no. I don't do anything outside past question. Have you seen a question for 20 marks? It's for 20 marks, 20 marks. Have you seen recommend controls? What are you using? Okay. You'll solve the question before you close, don't worry. Can you continue?
Yes.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Please, the last time we ended at the audit strategy, which is under the planning. So I don't know which topic we are treating now. We had a computer.
We are still treating the audit plan, audit strategy. And I told you that under audit strategy, the first thing you need to do, the first strategy, we are doing types of audit approach or audit strategy, system-based. Now we are doing 2, substantive what? Testing or test of what? Details. Are you okay? Are you okay?
Yes, Oman. Thank you.
Okay. Then number 3, we are done with 2. The third assertion, assertion 3. Don't worry, when I'm done, I'll share this document with you. I hope it's fair. I hope it's fair.
Yes.
The next one, we call it balance sheet approach. Balance sheet approach. What is balance sheet approach? Here, the name even implied balance sheet. Balance what sheet? What are we doing here? Here, this approach, we will take all the balances. The balance, okay, balance at the beginning. Okay, at the beginning of the year. Okay, so if it's inventory, we take opening inventory. Okay, then we add plus any change. Have you seen that audit is very sweet, but any changes in the P&L, P and L, okay, which will give you equal to balance at what? Balance at the end of the. This is what you are doing, this approach. If you use this approach, this is what you are doing. You take all the balance brought forward, or all the opening balances. Upon taking all the opening balances, okay, when you take all the opening balances, then you add any changes. So you check whether there is any changes in what? The P&L. Add it to the beginning what? Balances. Then you get what? A closing what? Balance. Is that clear?
Yes.
Exactly. That's what you are doing, this approach. The last approach, we call it a default approach. It's a default risk. So if you're an auditor and you are going for any audit, this one is approach, a default. Risk-based what? Risk-based what? Approach. And whenever you hear risk-based, what are you doing? We call it default. Whenever you hear risk-based, what are you doing? Brothers and sisters, talk to me.
Business risks and financial statements.
Exactly. So here, what are we doing? We are doing three elements. We are doing three elements. We identify what? Risk. Identify risk. And for identification, what are you checking? You are checking business risk and financial statement risk. The second one, what do? You evaluate the risk. Then you choose your approach because it's a default. Because it's a default, then you choose your approach. Someone will ask which approach again? The approach, the above one, you choose one again because this one is default. Jamie, your hand is up. What is your question? Okay. So brothers and sisters, this is the 4 approach we will learn now. If you have any of them, you can add. But as it stands now, this will be the 4 approaches to audit strategy that we are going to use for exam purposes and for our practical auditing purposes. Risk-based approach is what? A default. So you identify the risk. How do you identify the risk? That's why the question that I gave you, it said that, do what? Let me also shock you again. Let me pick the question I shared with you that we are going to solve before we close. The question number 2. Where is the question? Where is the question? The question number 2. You have it. Someone should read the question number 2, the requirement. It says that. What is the requirement?
Question number 2.
The question that's
Recommend 2 assertions that the company should.
No. The work.
Question number 2.
This morning, yesterday, yesterday night, I gave you a certain question and read the, I don't know, is a Voltarian name, Agblebi, say Agblebi or Agblebi Limited. What is the requirement there?
Explain 4 principal audit risks facing Agblebi Limited.
Exactly. Have you seen that? It says explain how many principal audits?
4 principal audit risks.
Okay.
Facing Agblebi Limited.
So, brothers and sisters, these are the issues. You can't run away. Here houses almost 50% of the audit that you are going to write. 50%. So if you don't get the basis from here, you can't dash the examiner half of the marks. Explain 4 principal audit. For how many marks? 10 marks. Okay.
So, Oman, please, we know about 3. I think the question we answered, I put something there, so I should cancel down. So which one will be the 4th one?
Which 4th one? 4th one of what?
It said explain 4 principal audit risk.
No. When you say principal audit risk, you are doing business risk, financial statement risk, and analytical.
Analytical.
So under the business risk, the things inside the business risk that you are going to talk about.
Okay.
You get it? You're not going to state business risk and you start explaining. No. Every paragraph that you just chance on, you need to see something. You need to see a risk. Madam Tina, are you getting it?
Do.
Let me take here. It says a considerable revenue is derived from agents who Limited does not employ. So what do you see here? What do you see here? What risk do you see here?
Financial risk.
Exactly. You can also see over and understatement of what?
Yeah.
Revenue. So that is the reason why I told you to cancel. You wrote business risk and you are trying to explain business risk. And I told you cancel the whole statement there. Do you remember?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on.
I have a question. So if you have like an estate type question like this, and then they're asking you to explain the principal or 4 principal audit risk, can you probably explain let's say when you take the business risks, you identify operational risks, that's one. Identify financial risks, that's one. Two, maybe if you identify compliance risks, that's one. And then reputational risks, so that's four. Then you explain, that's it.
No. You joined late. And you didn't join last week. So it will be a challenge to link these issues up. Do you get it, Lizzie? Do you get it? I gave them some strategy to answer all case questions.
Yeah, I was here, Mampini.
You were there.
I was here, and I understand when you take the business risks, you link it to the financial statement risks.
Yes, so what I'm saying is that when you pick the statement, okay, when you pick, someone has even dropped the approach there. When you pick the statement, just pick a word, or it's either a phrase or lift everything. Then you tell us that it's what financial risk. Then you explain what makes it a financial risk.
Okay.
Are you getting it?
It's just the risk identifying from the paragraph that you have to link it.
Yes. Yes. Don't be stating them financial risk. No. Re-emphasize. Pick it from a certain place, a certain paragraph that connote that here, this is the risk being what seen here. Because you can get more than 5 financial risk in more than what a lot of what the paragraphs. Is that clear?
Yeah, I get it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So let's move on, brothers and sisters. We are done with what? That we are still under. We are done with what the strategy was. So Osua.
Yes, man.
So we are done with the audit strategy. What is the last element under the audit, the planning?
We have the computer in auditing.
No. We have another one before the computer in auditing.
Audit plan.
Audit plan. Okay, so we discuss audit plan. I shouldn't duplicate efforts. I have rules here. Let me copy them. I'll explain the audit plan. So now we are now doing the audit plan, Ankasa. Have you seen? Yes. So we have done the actual issues. What would be, so in some books, they will call the audit plan as what? Audit memo. Audit what? Memo. So the audit plan will be what? The memo. In some books, that is what you will see. Is that clear? Audit memorandum. Right. So here, what are the things you need to see in the audit plan? The assignment of objective and the report to be issued. They are going for an audit. Do you remember that I told you that we have another type of what audit? If you are going to purchase any assets, if let's say a company is taking over another company and they employ you to do an due diligence audit for them, okay, you're supposed to know the objective of the audit and what audit reports are you going to issue. Do you remember the audit fees? We said that what audits, you need to know the audit report that you are going to issue. Is it a special audit report or is it a normal original audit report? Changes in the client's organization or business. The audit timetable and the reporting lines. I told you that whenever they are coming for audit, when we're discussing the audit fees, so if you have noticed that, if let's say those coming for the audit, you see that the audit lead will come for the first day, you will see him again. Most of the times, the person with the audit lead, he will come the first day of the audit. The first day they won't audit, they will do a walkthrough. They will go and check, okay, and this is your cash point, this, they will do a walkthrough. Then that person will leave. Who have checked that before? Who have noticed that? Hey, why? You don't audit your companies. No one is talking to me. Or my microphone is not working.
We are not auditors yet.
It's working.
Who have noticed that before? That the audit lead will come for the first day, then you won't see him, you see him like intermittently. He will come once and he will go. Who have noticed that?
It's true.
Yeah, it's true.
That is true.
Yes, so you need to check the timetable to see so that it will inform them whether they are going to do the work at your place or they will do, let's say, 5 days at your place and they will do the rest at what? Their workplace. And what will be the reporting deadline? It's supposed to be enshrined in the audit plan. Then changes in client's organization or business. Is there any change? I'm auditing Omanpenyin Company Limited. Has Omanpenyin changed any business line? Omanpenyin was selling ladies cloth. Now Omanpenyin says, no, I'm going to sell Wellington boots and the rest. Do you get it? Summary of key financial ratios. Summary of key financial ratios. Is that clear? Some. Okay, so we need to know, we need to do a summary of key financial ratios. So what will be some of the key financial ratios? Who can tell me? Who can tell me some of the key financial ratios?
Liquidity.
Profitability ratio.
Okay. Someone said liquidity, very important.
Return on
investment.
Okay.
Gearing and the rest. So all these key financial ratios supposed to be done by the said entity. Someone will ask, we are yet to do the financials. It can be done vis-a-vis based on what they obtain, what knowledge. Do you remember obtaining knowledge? We can obtain knowledge through what reports, financial, the old ones. It's being done. And when we go on the field, we can also do that one and do what? Comparison. Plan decision for what? The audit. What is the decision that we are going to take? The plans towards what? The audit, that decision. Use of client staff. Which people are we going to use for the audits? Are we going to use the CFO? Are we going to use which staff are we going to use for the what? For the work? Is that clear? We're supposed to make sure that, okay, our contact person will be the CFO. The CFO says, okay, deal with Omanpenyin, who is the finance head. Exactly. Very well. Possible problem areas and approach. So now, have you seen the approach also featured here? Possible areas, problem areas will be your risk. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Come again with that, please.
We have done audit approach, and they are saying that we're supposed to include the approach that we are going to use in our what? In our report, audit plan. Then here, what will be the possible problem area? That is the risk assessment that we did. The first stage, you did what? Risk assessment. And the risk assessment, what do? You identify risk. Is that clear?
Thank you.
Okay. Staffing requirements. How many people do we need? Do you remember when we were doing the audit fees? How many people do we need for this audit? How many people do we need for this audit? The next one is what? Attendance location. What will be the location that we are going to do the said what? Activity. Attendance location. It's also help us to calculate our audit fees. The last one, proposed method of what? Communication. How are we going to communicate to the client? Is it going to be in a form of through those charged with governance? Is it going to be through the audit report that we are going to done? What will be what the proposed method of what? Communication. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, this will be the audit what? Plan. Ezegoma. Is that clear?
Yes,
yes. Please, I would like to find out if you are planning for the audit. These are the factors or the things you should take into consideration.
Yes, the things you need to state in your, that's why I said in some books, they call it what? Audit what? Memo. Like your report, the audit that you're going to, you need to get a roadmap, you need to get a plan, you need to get a document that will help you. Is that clear? Hello, is that clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Okay, so let's take time. This place, you are going to do the much of the reading. The last issue, you are going to do much of the reading. So the ICAG manual, it is in page 181. Page 181, computer. You're going to read that one. You're going to read a lot of, so the question I gave you, the question at the what do you call it? The assignment I gave you is about online issues. Online issues. And I think the last time they dropped a question around online issues at check. The reason is that now all the activities are moving towards what? Online. Make payment online, pay this thing online. So the likelihood that you can get a question which is being geared towards what? Online activities is what? Very high. And they will tell you to do identify risk when it comes to online issues. Have you seen? That's why I gave you that question. It's based on online what? Activities. So how do we do online? So the areas we need to concentrate, areas for use as an auditor. You need to concentrate. You be the auditor. The areas you need to concentrate. The first one will be what? When it comes to computer, using computer to audit, the first one is what? Audit administration. Audit administration and controls. We will expand it, so don't worry. And controls. The next area is what? Audit plan. So now we know audit plan, and now we don't know audit plan. We don't know audit plan.
We know.
Into risk assessment. Just that this is just an online document. The next one is what? Audit working paper. And when you say audit working paper, it's the same thing. It's like the evidence you need to what? Gather. Audit evidence. And you are going to do audit evidence. So it's like now the same audit, and we are trying to replicate same online. Online. So what are the things you do? Then you also do analytical review. Okay, analytical review. So by the time we are done with the full audit, you see that it will be adding up procedure. And I told you that here, what do? That the planning stage, okay, execution. And when execution is what? What is audit execution? And the reporting. It's the same entire full audit. Is that clear? Okay. Then the last thing that we need to do is what? Sampling. Okay, so basically, brothers and sisters, these are the things we need to do when it comes to auditing in computer in auditing, audit administration and controls, audit planning and the rest. So basically, we will take a snapshot at that area, but it will feed into the main issue. But let's do where the key issues are. We call it controls. So the first one, audit administration and controls. So controls over computer-based information systems. Computer-based information systems. Also, are you following?
Yes, someone.
CBIS. Okay, what will be the controls? We have two types of controls. We have general controls. The computers you use, the software you use, we have general controls. Okay. And application what? Control. This thing, what is our second degree? So here, what do you do as an auditor? Whenever you're going to audit and they have any software, you need to check this. What will be there? You need to check the controls over the said activities. The said activities. So here, they are still using what? SOSPAN, because it's what? Controls. But the first one is what? General controls. So general control, what do? You check the environment within which the system is designed. Who designed the system? I was having one lecturer at K-Poly way back in school. He taught me, K-Poly, I did computerized accounting. He taught me computerized accounting, the course itself. And this man, he designed softwares for companies. And if this man is in need of cash, he can sit in Kumasi, then he will trigger the accounting software Then you call him. Oh, boss, the system is not working. Oh, then you guys need to pay for my flights. Let me come and let me come and check. He will go and he will just do 1, 2, 3 things. Then the thing will start working. Then he will take his money and come back. So you need to check what is the general controls around this issue. Who designed the software? This is general. Who operated the software? You need to know as an auditor who maintained. That's why all the softwares, they give room for what? Updates. That's the minimum answer. Update, no as I use. Do you get it? Who maintain it? Who operate and maintain what? And maintain the software. You need to know as an auditor. Okay, you are going for audit. He said you are using CareWorks. You are using Sage. You are using Sage 50. You are using mention some of them. Those using softwares. Tally. You are using QuickBooks. Exactly. Who designed that? You need to know as an auditor. Okay. Then development. You need to also check the development. You are doing general controls. Development of what? The CBIS. The system-based what? Who developed this activity? Then you need to also check documentation. When you buy any software, it comes with what? Manual. Anna, it comes with manual.
Yeah.
Documentation and what? Documentation. Oh, nowadays, how do you spell documentation? I must spell it basic. At the computer. Documentation. Let me clean this one. I think I'll be fine here. Documentation and testing process. Testing program. Okay, you need to know all these things. You need to know. What is the prevention with mechanisms? So when you talk about prevention mechanism, what is that? What comes in head? Comes in mind? What comes in mind?
Stops.
Huh?
Controls.
Prevention mechanism in ICT. What comes in mind?
Controls.
No.
Password.
Prevention mechanisms. Antivirus, and the rest. Exactly. Those things, prevention mechanism. Yes. Don't come
about password.
Okay, password too.
Password is security one.
But I think prevention mechanisms will be the viruses. Don't come and tell us that. Yes, don't come and backups. Don't come and tell us that the system has fooled up or and so you don't have any backup.
Firewalls.
Basically, that's the thing.
And there are some limitations. So that people know social media.
Okay. So I hope you are catching a revelation. This is what here we are auditing outside. Okay. General purpose, general controls. We are doing what? Auditing. Okay. Outside the CBIS. Outside. The next one. The next control. We have only 2 controls. Application controls. The app that you are using, what are the controls you have over it? The app that you are using. Okay, we have authorization. There are plenty. What are some of the controls you have over the app? Okay, authorization. Who authorized what in the system? So in some workplace, the CFO won't allow you to pass any entry without his what? Approval in the system.
Yes.
Do you get it? He won't never. If he's in the house, you just hang the transactions. You come and push it. On and Kwasasimbia. Then balance na you get it? Processing the data. We check whether the processed data is complete. Okay. All these issues, we also do specific what? Specific controls in them. specifically, what are some of the controls? Is Mampeni who's supposed to deal with payables entries? Is Lizzie who's supposed to do receivables entries? Is the CFO who will be the last person to approve and authorize? A specific controls. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. The last one you need to know. I said we are just scanning through because it all fills up. And I foresee a question dropping from what online e-commerce, because now BBI e-commerce, those selling now you can't watch the ladies' status. If you watch ladies' status, they'll be posting a lot of things. Yeah, I'm selling this, buy this. Hey, we call it audit software. Audit software. Which items help us to do audit software? We call it CAT. What's the full meaning of CAT? Who can tell me? I'll send your classes fee to you.
Computer assisted audit techniques.
Computer assisted
audit techniques.
Okay.
Yes, can you have under the application control, can you have something like authentication?
Oh, anything that comes in mind, which is on the application, is supposed to be controlled. So have you seen that when I was answering the question B, okay, it says that what would be control? Recommend two controls. Recommend two controls. Now, are you catching the revelation? Recommend two controls over the online business. Do you remember? Do you remember I talked about authorization? SOSPAN is still part of SOSPAN. Authorization, accuracy. Do you remember? They are all application with controls because it's online activity. Who don't understand up to this point? So this cards, okay, will help us to do what? Test what? Data. Now we have, do you know that we have software that also helps in auditing? Do you know that when you go to the public space and the private space, they have software that helps in auditing?
Yes.
Okay. Audit online platform. So write this one somewhere. It's a probable exams question. It can give you a case study, which is what? An audit, you audit online. The things you need to do, the procedures you need to do. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we are done with the first item under audit. We call it audit planning, the planning. And what do we do under the planning? We obtain what? Can we mention them? Under the audit plan, what do you do? You obtain what?
You obtain knowledge.
What again?
Risk assessment. Materiality. Audit strategy. Audit plan. And computer in auditing.
Okay, thank you very much. So brothers and sisters, we are done with the first part of what? The audit. Please, don't mind Socrates. He joined the class last night. And because of one or two issues, he didn't write the exams. So he knows all what you're talking about. So, boss, last warning. Okay. Oh, someone has given us an acronym. Very well. CRMAAC. Sharp. Okay. So we are concluded on what? Audit plan. Can you move on to execution? Can we move? Can we move? Can you move?
Yes, please.
Any other question?
Sir, please, can you touch on the audit online platform? I didn't get it.
Okay, Mamiesi, I didn't say anything about it. I said that make sure that you know all the procedures on how you are going to do auditing on what? Online platforms. Is a probable area because now everything is being done online. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Is it Mamiesi who says I talk faster?
Yes, today you are doing very well.
Okay, I've changed. Okay. So let's move on. Can we start with execution? Can I get 5 years? Then we close with the question that I share with you. We are going to solve that question before we close. Can I get 5 years?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Oh, can the other gender speak to me?
Yes.
Okay. Is forgive here? Forgive.
Yes.
Okay. Do you understand what we are doing?
Yes, please.
Okay. Let's move on. Execution. So, also, we are now doing execution, which is a branch under what? The historical audit of historical financial statement. Exactly. We are done with planning. So we are going to execute. And when you say execute, what do you do? Also, what are the things we are going to do under execution? I told you that we are going to do 2 things. What are we going to do?
Procedure and evidence.
Procedure and what? Evidence. Nowadays, how do you spell evidence?
Okay. That's it.
What is procedure? Something supposed to come in mind. Action. Evidence, what's supposed to come in mind?
Proof.
Okay. Okay. Do you remember I cited this example? Someone asked me that the liability of the auditor and is that we have an expectation gap, and the liability gap is it is the duty, what the outsiders think that the auditor will do, and the actual work the auditor does, right? That is expectation gap, right? Right?
Yes.
Okay. And the person who said yes, how many types of expectation gap do you have?
3.
Oh, okay, they are
standard. Performance.
Okay.
Liability.
Liability.
So someone asked a question and I gave him an example, an answer. I remember this answer because it relates to my field. He said that, do they have a standard, the standard for someone thinking that this is what the auditor is supposed to do? And I said that there is no benchmark for thinking. The reason is that if, let's say, I use the person's husband. The husband is in a room and a lady visited the husband and they are in the room. Those outside will think that the husband is having an affair with the lady in the room. And maybe the husband is praying with what? The lady. Have you seen that? The thinking of those outside is different from what actually is happening in the room. Huh? Have you seen it's different because they are praying, but those outside think that they are having what? An affair. Okay, what are you saying, young man? What I'm saying is that if we want to know truly that they be in the room, they are praying or they are having an affair, we need to do what? Action. We need to do procedures. And how do we do procedures? Procedures are action words. Action words, we need to do action words. Upon doing the action word, then we check if truly the husband is not having any affair with the lady. Proof. Open the room, let's see. Proof. So basically, these are the 2 things we are going to do under execution. Procedures are action. So whenever you hear recommend procedure, do what? Do what? Action word. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes.
Whenever you hear proof, give us what? Copies. What's the proof there? Don't duplicate effort. You just do copies. Upon this basis, can I start? Can I start?
Yes, you can start.
Okay. So let's start. We start with what? Actions. What are some of the action words? What is action word? SS. Action word is what?
A verb.
Verb na action word.
Aye.
So you do, the first thing you do is what? Inspection. Inspection is what? An action word. So you inspect. What do we inspect? We are doing action. We are doing procedures. What do we inspect? We inspect documents and what? Documents and what? Assets. We are doing procedures. We are auditing and we are performing procedures. Hey, boss, procedures. What is the receipt of this item? We inspect documents. You said that you purchased too much elements. And okay, you said you purchased so much items. What shows that truly you purchased that item? We need to inspect. An action word, inspect. What do you inspect? We inspect document and what? Assets. Don't get it twisted. The next one, we do observation. Observation. They are all action words. So what do we observe? Observe means watch the process. Watch process or a process or the process. Don't mind the English. You get the understanding. Watch the process as it is performed. Okay. Nowadays, how this be performed? Okay. So watch the process as it is performed. This one is limited in use. They don't normally use this one. And this one is being used for inventory. That's why those, I don't know whether your place, they do audit at your place. Whenever they are coming to do inventory, one auditor is supposed to be present. If you are doing your closing inventory, one auditor is supposed to be present. Exactly. But it's limited in use. And now will be that mobile auditor, stock taking auditor be maybe. Okay. Okay, so that is observation. So it's part of what? Procedure, observation. We watch while the process is what is being performed. The next one, we call it recalculation. Don't worry, when we start solving practical issues, you know what to say under procedure. So is that clear? You're not going to inspect, do this, observe. No. I'll tell you what to say, okay? Okay?
Okay, man.
I'll tell you what to write. Don't worry, you'll be fine. You also do what? Recalculation. What is recalculation? Recalculation is what? You performing. Recalculation. Oh, Amma, why do you say, What is the challenge? Let me help you. Amma, what is the challenge? Perform arithmetic. Come again.
I just joined and I said,
Okay. Next time, join early, okay?
Yeah.
Sunday, join early. Otherwise, Sunday, we are going to solve a lot of practical questions. 6 a.m. Fine, then I'll start. Okay, so let's start. Let's continue. When you say recalculation, you perform arithmetic or accuracy. What's the memory?
Sorry, 6 a.m. there.
Oh, that's what we were doing last night too. Let's do that. Don't worry. Okay. It will help us. Okay, don't worry.
Leave this for the week.
Yeah, let's continue. Recalculation. What is recalculation? Recalculation is what's confirming arithmetic or accuracy. So whenever you go for any audit and they give you, let's say, asset schedule, calculate and see, do recalculation and see whether truly, okay, the figures are correct. The next one is what? Reperformance. I don't know whether this one is an English word. Reperformance. Is that an English word? Is that an English word?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Reperformance is what you're trying to do what independently, trying to perform the duty again. Okay. Independently, trying to do the try to do the whole process again. So let's say they did assertion. Try to do a performance and see whether it's truly they valued the asset based on what IAS 16. If it's a public sector institution, whether they value the asset based on what FSAS 17. Try and see the performance. The next one is what external confirmation. It is very important. This one is very important too. External confirmation, very important. Confirmation. What is it? Come again.
I would say that they are interested in this one more than anything.
Yes, external confirmation. So existence, evidence from the financial statements from external party. So the bank loan, is it true? You confirm from the banks, write to the banks and ask them whether truly they came for what? The loan, external party. The next one is what? Experts. Also consult experts. Listen carefully. Whenever you hear experts in what? Audit. This one is evidence. Whenever you hear experts in audit, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Whenever you
knowledgeable people like the architects, the lawyers, and all those ones.
Okay, so we are talking about a skill other than accounting. Those not having what? Accounting background, the lawyers and the rest. So the last thing you need to do, we call it written representation. And it's a standard, it's an audit standard that talks about what? Written representation. Exactly. Get written representation from where? The client. Okay, you said that fire inventory, okay, got banned during, let's say, October 2022. What shows that truly we are not there? What shows that truly inventory, okay, catch fire? There's supposed to be what a written in representation, and statement is a statement which are written by the client. Okay. And you know who don't understand. Basically, that is what the procedures you need to undertake. We are building on. Let's build on from what? Proof. Let's build on from proof. Upon building on from proof. Oh, let me push this once more. I hope today I'm not writing, but you guys are okay. I'll write very soon. I hope you are okay.
Yes. Not really, but we'll manage it.
Manage it.
Okay. Oh, so you like the writing more than this one?
Yes.
This one is equally good, but you go fast. Maybe I've not finished, but the next time I've gone to another page and I can't draw the class back.
Oh, okay. Oh, let me take my time. Don't worry.
But since you said you drop it, we are okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. My writing part is in an incubator. I'm trying to sort issues out and I'll be fine. Okay, so I'll take my time, Madam Tin, I'll take my time. Let's move on. Proof. Proof, we say copies. Under proof or evidence, we do two things. Under evidence, we do two things. What do? We do appropriate, let me bullet it, appropriate, okay. We do appropriate, okay, and sufficient. And when we say something is appropriate, it means is what? It means is what? Quality, right? Right? When you say something is appropriate. So in a typical exams, they can ask you to do what? The appropriateness of what? A certain element. We will solve questions, don't worry. They will ask you appropriateness of what? Something means quality. So under appropriate, we do two things. Under appropriate, we do two things. The thing's supposed to be what? Reliable. If it's quality, it's supposed to be what? Reliable. Is that clear? Hello, is that clear?
Yeah.
If something is quality, appropriate, it means quality. If the thing is quality, the audit evidence is quality, then if it's appropriate, it's supposed to be reliable. We can rely on what? The said activity. That's why I said that. The man is in the room with the lady. What shows? They should open the door, let's see what they are doing. We saw with our eyes. So it's what is reliable. Is that clear? Very well. So what would be the assumptions of what? Reliability assumptions. What's in auditing? What are some of the assumptions that, okay, something is what? Reliable. Something is reliable. Who can tell me? In auditing, you are auditing and you check, you want to check whether something is reliable. What are some of the things? Guys.
I'm looking at the source of the information or the source of where it's coming from.
Okay. Okay, who again? Okay, so this is what we say when it comes to audits. Within, items within, okay, or evidence obtained within, okay, is less reliable. Listen carefully. Items obtained within is what? Less what? Reliable. So when you go for audit and they produce items within the said entity, it's less reliable. Oh, it's true. Oh, see this. They produce the item to you. Exactly. It's less reliable.
Yes.
Oral representation. Do you know oral representation?
That's verbal.
Verbal. They tell you, oh, it's true that, oh, this inventory caught fire the last time. Okay, and they are telling you with their math. Oral representation is also less what? Reliable. Listen carefully. Photocopy, okay, is less reliable.
Reliable.
Then, what is reliable here? The auditor originated. Fatu Trimo, we are going to use all these things. The auditor originated what? Evidence is the most reliable. What is the auditor's originated evidence? He now saw with his eye. He now performed procedures to what? To see. He now did his own what? Items to get the what? The evidence is the most what? Reliable.
Reliable.
Is that clear?
Yes.
That's the auditor doing skepticism.
Come again.
You know that's skepticism.
Is it not that what?
Skepticism.
No.
I'm not getting the English. Oh.
That's skepticism.
Skepticism.
Okay, is it not that skepticism? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Skepticism there, that is a foundation. You need to get a question in mind. But here, he has performed all the oracles. He has performed all the rituals to get his own evidence. That is the most what? Most reliable, the one we can rely. Under appropriateness, we also do this one thing. We call it relevance. Relevance. The thing's supposed to be also be relevant. And what are we doing when it comes to relevant? Relevant is the same thing or is based on assertion. It's based on assertion. I hope you know assertion. Brothers and sisters, I hope you know assertion.
Yes.
We know assertion.
Yeah.
And I want in assertion. Huh?
You said assertion is like assessing certain things in the organization or whatever it is.
Okay. Assertion is testing of details. Okay, what we discussed. Okay. So this issue is based on assertion. So we are not going to explain anything there. So under evidence, we have appropriateness. Appropriateness means what? Quality. And when we say something is quality, one, it's supposed to be what? Relevant. What makes something relevant? If item is being generated internally, it's not reliable. Do you get it? If it is an oral representation, it's not reliable.
Reliable.
If it's a photocopy, it's less reliable. But if the auditor himself try to do all the oracles, it's what? Reliable. Any question? Any question? Any question? Then the last one. So this reliability and this relevance is under appropriateness. Watch carefully. Then we do sufficient. Sufficient is also another element under what? Another element under evidence. Sufficient.
So, question.
Talk to me.
We spoke about written representation.
Please, we are in class.
How far are
Share the link.
It is well. It is well.
It's okay. Let me have the class. And what God cannot do does not exist. Okay.
Please. What I wanted to ask was, we have spoken about the reliability or reliable in terms of the witness of the evidence. What about if it's written representation from the management? What would you describe that as well?
Okay. If it's a written representation to a certain issue, okay, that one we will say that it is a bit reliable, not concrete, because that can't you see that it's also within less reliable because it's also within the said entity. Have you seen that? The word here is most reliable. Collins, are you getting it? Yeah. Written representation is also from management.
Yeah.
Or you don't know?
It is.
Yes, so it is in two folds. It's either less reliable or partial reliable. You can't say it's the most reliable.
Okay.
Someone is saying that what of the original documents from, yes, it's reliable. Photocopy is not reliable. So you need to check the originals. So auditors do not check original photocopies. No. What are they using the photocopies for? He will check the original and they will tell you to do photocopies for them. Because the originals are not.
Oman, is it not that same original that they photocopied?
A lot of things can happen on the photocopy. I know someone who went to SHS, then with someone's results, and it was a photocopy. We can't say the name of that person from there, and they added that person's document as part of the photocopy.
It is possible.
It is possible. So photocopy is less reliable. So let's see the original. You said this photocopy. Let's see the original.
People even edit certificates and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, every master's degree, I know somebody using that. It's possible. It's done.
Have you seen? So, Madam Tina, I'm never a piba. The man who killed, the policeman who killed the lady, they are saying that man is even using a fake certificate.
Yeah, fake certificate, yes, it's true.
You get it? So,
man, same way now, Baby Boss way.
Yes. Basically, these are some of the issues.
Certificates. I know what they call it, what they call police.
So a lot of things happen, A lot of things happen. So that is why they are telling you that the most reliable item is what the auditors originated that when we start solving questions, I wanted to share a question with you so that you see how the questions around that area will be asked. But I don't know where I can get the question. I don't know where I can get the question. Whoa. Do you have the past question I share with you? Do you have the past question I share with you? Hello, do you have the past question I share with you? The consolidated past question I share with you? Oh, you won't talk to me. I want to show you.
Oh man, you share so many past questions, so we don't know which.
I've consolidated one from November 2019 to December something. Do you have that one?
No,
we have it.
No.
We have it.
Okay.
Oman, I have something like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I want to show you. I want to show you a question B. How they ask questions around this. I don't know the year, but
What question?
Oman, if you can find a name or something, I can search. Then it will come out.
Go to November 2021. Let me see something. Go to November 2021. Go to November 2021. Are you there? November 2021. November 2021. All these questions are asked, they ask these questions. They're relevant, and if they ask you relevant is what? Assertion. Is that clear? Hello?
Open November 2021.
Yes, open November 2021. Let me see. Whether you
I have.
You have, eh? Okay, so go to question number 2. Let me see. Question number 2.
I'm on question 2. Yeah.
Okay, because most of the time it will be your question number 2.
2 I.
Do you see relevant there?
It said that explain
Yes.
2 assertions. Can I read, please?
Read.
Was it explain 2 assertions relevant to accounts payable at the year-end date?
Okay. No, not that one, not that one. Just go through whether you see. I want to see assertions and reliability. How the question is being put.
I think that's the question. It says explain the relevance and reliability of this oral representation.
Exactly.
To
So
confirm
pause there. Which question number is that?
Question 3.
Question 3.
Okay.
Have you seen how the question was being posed? Explain the relevance and reliability of what? Oral what?
Representation.
Okay. So have you seen? So relevance was talking about what? Relevance, we talk about what?
Corporateness.
No. Relevance is based on assertion.
Assertion. Yeah.
That's what you are doing. It's based on assertion. If you say Kim, you are going to do English. When you say something is relevant, it's important.
Will be occurrence.
Exactly.
Or classification.
Exactly. If you say Kim relevance, you are going to do English. And it says something is relevant, it means important. Relevant is based on what? Assertion. Have you seen reliability? Reliability, what are you doing? It's saying that reliability of this oral representation, and oral representation is what? Is what?
It's reliable.
Audit is very sweet, but if you don't get the technical terms, you write English. Have you seen? It's how many marks?
3 marks.
Exactly. So brothers and sisters, corporate ladies, have you seen? We are going to solve all past questions. That will rekindle what we have learned though. But I wanted to show you how the question can be posed. When two relevance are based on assertion, what are you doing? You are doing the assertions, transaction and event or account balances. And here, they have given you the question already to confirm what? The completeness of what? Bank overdraft. Have you seen the relevance? So the relevance will be based on what? It will be account balance. What do you do to check that bank overdraft is complete? You just explain. Is that clear? Reliability. You tell them that evidence which is oral is less reliable, but auditor originated evidence is the most reliable. So my dear, just go to where the solution is. It's question number 3 what? Question number 3 what?
B. C.
Question number 3 what?
C.
So, I.
C.
C.
So read the solution. It says that a representation from management confirming that overdrafts are complete will be relevant evidence. Overdrafts are liabilities. Therefore, the main focus will be on what? Completeness, assertion. Regarding reliability, the evidence is oral rather than what? Written. which reduce its what? Reliability. The directors could in future deny having given what? This representation. Second paragraph will say, this evidence is obtained from management rather than who? The auditor generated. Therefore, less reliable. And when you don't go to any, and also, I got 45 minutes. Who don't understand? Who don't understand? Hello? If you understand, can I get yes so that we move on? Can I get yes?
Yes, please.
Okay. Can I get another yes so that we move on?
No.
You don't understand? Okay, let's help you.
I don't understand the relevance.
Relevance is based on assertion. And we have done assertion. Here is assertion.
Recording in progress. 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 Progress.
Finally. So have you seen the assertions here? We are talking about these assertions. Lizzie, have you seen these assertions?
Yes.
So whenever you hear relevant, we are talking about these assertions. Transaction and events, is it under this or under this? So another way they can put assertions question, they will say relevant. Is that clear? They can also state really assertions direct. Lizzie, do you get it? The is not coming here. Whenever you hear of relevance, we are talking about assertions of management. These are the things you need to know. When we say assertions, these are the same things we are talking about. Don't worry, when we start solving practical issues, the note that we wrote will be coming in. Let's write this. Let's discuss this. How do we recommend? Recommending what? Controls. Recommending. So when we ask you a question, and so sufficient is what? Quantity. They can also ask you the sufficient, the appropriate sufficiency of a certain element. We are talking about quantity. You need to gather a lot of what? Evidence first. So we are saying that evidence is sufficient. If an audit evidence is sufficient, then we have a lot of what? Incidences, a lot of what? Document to back it. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, so we have a lot of document to back it. So whenever you hear of what sufficiency, we are talking about, hey, okay, this document, oh, this document, this is a document. So we are saying that we purchased an asset. What will make we testing this item? Okay, when you try to say that we confirm that, okay, truly asset was purchased, what will make the asset was sufficient? You need to check who raised the memo. What was the meeting? Sufficient to what was the meeting that went on? Then board minutes, we check, okay, they met that they are going to purchase this asset costing so much. Who raised the memo? Who approved the memo? Where is the invoice? So the evidence is sufficient because all the process, all the trend is being what is being met. Exactly. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, sufficient. So let's
enough evidence.
Exactly, enough evidence. Thank you, my brother. So let's discuss the last issue. Then we solve our question, then we close. We call it recommending controls. So whenever a question says recommend audit procedure, recommending, what do you do? So when you say recommend controls, what would you do? What do you do?
So spam.
So spam. When you say assertions, what do you do?
Relevant.
Okay. Relevance. Maybe I remember you may say read before going for exams. Read before going to the exams hall. Because you are going to use all. Yes, please.
I want to take you
back a bit on the relevance. You know, I want to get something clear. The evidence you have written prove appropriateness and quality. So if I'm right, the point you have made, reliable, relevant, sufficient, and those things, they are qualities of the audit evidence, right? Am I right?
Which qualities of audit evidence?
Yes.
Reliable.
Is that what we are dealing with?
Come again with your question.
I mean, the reliable, relevant, sufficient that you have written. Are they qualities of audit evidence? Because I've seen that you have written appropriate and to bracket quality.
Okay. Yes. Under the audit evidence, we have two ways audit evidence, let's say, how to check a proof of what? Audit procedure. They're supposed to be what? Appropriate. Appropriate means quality. The audit's supposed to be like evidence that you have gathered, supposed to be quality. And what makes an audit evidence quality? It's supposed to be reliable. If something is quality, we can rely on that thing. Exactly.
Exactly. So let's come to the relevance. So we want to know if an audit evidence is relevant. And
Relevance, you do test of what? Details to make it relevant. That's what, based on what? The assertions. Exactly. Assertions,
yes.
Assertions are what? The test of details.
Okay, so when you look at the test of details too, you were talking about the accuracy, the occurrence, the completeness.
Yes.
Is it all of them? Because
all of them, the two, transaction and event, and the account balance.
All right. Okay. I'm okay.
Okay, thank God. You're welcome. How do we recommend controls? So let's think carefully. Whenever you hear that in exams, you see recommend audit procedure, recommend audit procedure. These are the things supposed to ring in your head. First one, it says that you hold discussion. With who? Who do you hold discussion with? You hold. Have you seen that? It's an action word. Hold. Inspect. Have you seen that they are coming in? So in exams, you can say inspect. Do you get it? Right? We are recommending what? Audit what procedure. So you hold discussion with who? Employees, management, knowledgeable party. What do you hold this discussion for? To obtain an understanding of what? Transaction and what? Event. If you obtain this understanding, what do? To confirm whether there is what? Completeness, accuracy, name them. Have you seen we are recommending what? Audit procedure. Action Coton. What will be the evidence that truly you have recommended this control? You have whole discussion with someone. What to show that truly you have whole discussion with the person? What would be? One, you need to take what? The evidence will be what? Note from what? The board, note from what? The meeting. You hold discussion, you came to an office and you hold discussion with someone. You didn't write anything. That will show that, okay, this is what Omanpenyin said. Note from what? The meeting. It's a proof. Board minutes is also what? An evidence. Board minutes. Is that clear? Are you catching a revelation? Hello, are you catching it? Okay. If you're not talking to me,
yes, we're getting it.
The next one is what?
Yeah, you started moving too fast.
What was the last thing you heard? Let me help you.
Please start from the evidence area.
I said that when you are recommending audit procedure in exams, whenever you hear recommend audit procedure, these are the things you need to. It's an action word that is you need to do. What do? You hold discussion. Who do you hold discussion with? You hold it with what? Management, employees. It's like you having a convo with them. Why do you hold this convo? You hold the convo to obtain a bit of understanding of a certain transaction. Okay. What do you also hold to do again? To confirm a completeness or the accuracy of what an item. You have held discussion. What shows that truly you held discussion with these people? The evidence will be what? Notes from what? The meeting that you did with them. You can also, you did with management. What will be the proof? The proof will be what? The board minutes. The next one, you can also obtain schedule from each people. Management. What schedules can you obtain? You can obtain asset schedule. You can obtain inventory schedule. You can obtain all the schedules that you want to obtain. What do you use the schedule for? That is the action. What do you use the schedule for? To cast the schedule, whether it is what accurate. You add to review, to inspect. Do you get it? To check whether it would exist. What will be the proof that, okay, truly you obtain a schedule from them? So, Madam Tina, so you see the original copy. Then you yourself, you do a photocopy. Copies of what? The schedule. Because you did your work. So copies of the schedule will be what? An evidence. Is that clear? The next one, what do you do again? We obtain document from what? Management. What are some of the documents you can obtain from management? Receipts, invoice, board minutes, valuation reports, contract agreements, correspondence. What do you use this thing for? To check a completeness, to inspect, to check an accuracy of all transactions. What will be the evidence that truly you obtain a document or a receipt? The copies of what? The receipt, the copies of the reports, the copies of the board meeting, the copies of what the contract was arrangement, a copies of what the correspondent what activities. So evidence are copies, 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 copies. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah. Don't duplicate effort. Do the own evidence via start with copies. Recommending audit procedure, obtain this, hold this, do that, those action words. Is that clear? Evaluate this, do this. The next one is what? Obtain a written representation from management. If you obtain a written representation, what do you do? To confirm their intention, their judgment, their assumptions, and what selection. Do you know that IAS 8? What is IAS 8? What is IAS 8?
Changes in accounting estimate.
Okay, so you obtain, the reason why we do comparative accounting, the main reason is to check the consistency of what the accounting policy being used. That's why when you pick any financial statement, you will see 2022 and 2021. Why is it that they are bringing 2022 and 2021? They are bringing it to check, the auditor needs to check the consistency of what the accounting what policy. Okay, so when you obtain this written, because IAS 8 is an assumption from management. Lizzie, your hand is up. What is the question?
I'm trying to see the clear difference between point 3 and 4, because they are all documents that we obtain from management.
Written representation. Written representation is like a letter. It's like a white paper. Is that clear? Is that clear? But this document, we are being specific, like board minutes, receipt, agreement, all documents, employee agreement, and the rest. But written representation are specific issues. Then we write what papers, we issue white paper on those issues.
So maybe there are like issues you have raised, but you would want them to confirm to you in writing.
No, some issues will happen in the absence of what the auditor. So those issues which happen in the absence of the auditor, management is supposed to put a white paper down. So when the auditor comes, they will show it to the auditor that, okay, truly, this thing happened at this date and we have documented. Is that clear?
Okay.
So you need to obtain that written representation to confirm that this was the intention, judgment, assumption, their selection. What will be the evidence? The evidence will be what? Copies of what? The written what? Representation or the written what? Reports. The next one. Review of what? Financial what? Statements. Let's make sure why. The next one is what? Review of what? Financial statements. What do we review financial statement for? We review to confirm key requirements of what? Acceptable frameworks. Do you remember that I told you to use a certain English? Whenever you are not sure of the standard, you tell them that this the application of the standard, or there is what? A sharp contrast to what? To the said what? Information, or say what? The said what? Standard. So you need to review the financial statement to confirm whether the key requirements of acceptable frameworks were adhered to in terms of what? Disclosure. What will be the evidence here? Who can tell me the evidence? What will be the evidence?
Copy of the financial statement.
Oh, God bless you. Copies of the financial statement. Okay. The last issue, we call it re-performance and independent what? Carry out what? Procedure. You yourself, you do it yourself to check whether all things are what? Okay. If no other questions, brothers and sisters, I would love us to solve the practical issues, then we close. Then on Sunday, we are going to do review. Please, wait and two exams last night. Now, the examiner loves to drop issues under review. Make time and join. I'm begging you, Sunday 6 a.m. Try not join me. One join here, show video. Sorry. Reviews are important. The exam that dropped last night, it was based on the reviews. So try and enjoy. Try and do what? Enjoy. Okay. Can we solve the question without any question? Can we solve our question? Then we call it an evening. The document, take the document I shared with you.
Please, different from the assignment one. Okay.
Okay, people are signing out. They are tired already. So let's try and close early. Read the question with me. My reader, Joyce. And our Joyce is Wakoda.
So let me read.
Okay, read, senior.
You are the audit manager responsible for the audit of Mex Shops Limited.
Pause there. And always they will give you a nice position. Always. They will give you a nice position. Continue.
A company that runs a chain of fast food restaurants. You are aware that the major risk of this sector is that poor food quality might result in damage claimed by customers.
Mm-hmm.
You had satisfied yourself at the interim audit that the company control risk as regard purchase of food and its preparation in the kitchen was low. However, during your final audit, it comes to your attention that 1 month before the year end, a customer has sued the company for a personal injury caused by food poisoning, claiming an amount of 100,000 in compensation. This amount is material to the stated profit of the company.
Let me ask this question. Whenever we say something is material, what is the meaning?
It influences the decision of the users of the family.
Its omission will influence it.
Okay. Okay, let's move. We will do calculations on materiality. Don't worry. Once we do, we try to solve practical issues. Continue, my brother. The issue is what's material.
Yes. This amount is material to the stated profit of the company, but management believes that it has a good defense against the claim. Required.
Management you too know, pa.
Okay. Required. I recommend 2 controls that the company should have in place to reduce the risk associated with.
Okay. So can we take our time? What would be? I said that whenever you hear recommend controls, what do you do?
So spam.
So can we do here? The main concept is that they are saying that they have what food poison, and they are into what food preparation. So what would be the controls you need to recommend to mitigate and or to reduce the risk, the food poison risk?
So there should be supervision.
One after the other. Raise your hand to talk. Everything there you talk about so spam there is correct. Oh, okay. Arimeyau.
Yes, please. Supervision of workers during the process of the preparation of the food. Supervision.
Okay. So have you seen how he has linked the issue that there's supposed to be a supervision, overall supervision, who's supposed to cut yam, who's supposed to cut this, so that it won't cause what? Food poison. It will reduce what? Food poison. Someone is saying segregation of duty. How do you link segregation of duty? Supposed to have different person preparing stew, different person preparing what? Preparing what? A man,
soup.
Yes. So that it won't cause what? Food poison. JM, your hand is up. What is your question?
They should also train their staff.
Train. The train number perfect so.
Personnel.
Okay.
Training.
Exactly. JM, your hand is up. What is your question?
Please, I've responded.
You have responded, eh? So you are fine.
Yes.
So, who don't understand? Yes, please.
Please, I'm also suggesting this. Approved ingredients to also be used. Ingredients in preparing the stew or the food.
Approved ingredients to preparing the stew should be. Okay. Okay. If it's controlled, fine.
By the Ghana Standard Board of Food Authority.
Okay, please. It's not exhausting, but always I prefer to use spam. Okay. When you look at the solution to these questions, it is mixed up. Okay. But always when you see recommended controls, just do so spam, then you'll be fine. Is that clear? When we are done, I will show you the solutions. Yeah. I'll show you the solutions. Let's move on. Read.
State 2 audit procedures you should carry out during control testing to satisfy yourself that control risk is inferior.
I said that whenever you hear audit procedure, what do you do?
Action.
So that is the recommended things I gave you. So what would be the actions you are going to do here to reduce the that?
Inspection.
Observation.
No. Don't say inspection, observation, and go. I gave you some things. Recommended control. Don't go and say the inspection.
Hold discussion with management.
Yes, hold discussion with management, and what are you confirming? hold discussion with management if truly the food poison occurred. Can't you see that? Can't you also review the leisure of what? The liability. That's the things you are going to say. Don't go and say inspect. Okay, you can do check. You can examine. Hello, are you catching a revelation? Are you catching a revelation?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Audit procedure. So you're supposed to link to what? The control. What do you check? What do you hold? Is that clear? Is that clear? Obtain written representation from which people? From management to check whether truly this occurrence did occur.
Okay.
Do you get it? Yes, please.
Please, can we use real performance, like you going to check where they buy their things to see if
exactly
they get it?
It's all a procedure independently.
You can even also observe how they prepare their food.
That one is limited. If you can do that, okay.
Sir, that one, can't it be under the physical control?
We are done with controls. Whenever you hear recommended controls, you are doing different thing. When you hear audit procedure, you are doing different thing.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Okay. Okay.
Talk to me, senior. Okay, if no other questions, that is what you are going to do, audit procedure. Yes.
Please. So with this question, are we also going to re-emphasize before we continue?
Are you going to do what?
Please, can you also request for evidence from this customer who said...
No, one person, someone is talking. Can the person finish so that I can answer every question? Yes, please. Who is talking now? Okay. Any other person can talk so that we move on. We are solving all the...
Mine, please, what about experts looking for maybe a third party with experience or...
You just start with an action word. If you start with an action word, you are good to go. Start with an action word. Is that clear? Audit procedures are action. So start with an action word. Just write English. Obtain this, hold this, examine this, check this. Action word. Is that clear? Okay.
Okay.
Can we move on? If no other person is asking any question, can we move on?
I have a question.
Talk to me.
Please, can you also obtain maybe a medical report that really confirms that this...
Exactly, you are right. The word started with obtain, an action word. The first one, you can also hold discussion with what? Knowledgeable party. They are all correct.
Thank you.
If no other issue, it's supposed to start with an action word. That is the main issue. Audit procedure is supposed to start with an action word. Okay. Who is talking to me?
Requirement 3. Explain 2 assertions relevant to account payables at the end of the year.
It's okay. So account payable can be seen where?
In the
statement of financial position.
Statement of financial position. So what are some of the 2 assertions we know?
Existence.
Rights and obligations.
Rights and obligations.
So it's okay. So let's link it. Right and obligation. Talk about its linkage. Oh, kasamehu minia kasamehu.
The payables that they have stated, are we
obligated
or are we obliged to pay?
Exactly.
Are we obliged to pay? Have we committed ourselves? somewhere that we need to pay them.
I hope we are catching a revelation, of brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
Let's move on. Yes, please.
Please,
yes,
it seems the issues about accession, that one, it didn't go down well with me at all. So
oh, really?
Hello.
Yes, please.
Again.
Assertions.
Yes.
Let me switch in between it. The assertions, don't duplicate effort. Assertions and relevance are the same. So come here with me. Whenever you see, oh, then I may use why. Word screen. So see, the assertions are this. So assertions are like the approach, audit approach that you are using. And what is assertion? You test of what? Test of details. And for it comes to test of details, you are testing that, okay, into details, okay, these items truly what? Either occurred or existed. You are speaking to someone on phone, okay? You met a lady on Facebook. Yeah, you guys have been spoken. What will show that the person exists? You need to do a substantive testing, test of details. So here, the account that the management has prepared, we want to test management and see whether truly all the figures that they have included, okay, is right and correct. So here we call them assertions of management. And we do assertions at two places, transaction and event, and account balances. Account balances are done for all items on statement of financial position, balance sheet.
Okay,
You're okay now?
Yes. So it means that anytime that you're asked to do an assertion, you just go and look at what particular item they quoted, whether it was P&L.
Exactly.
And you come and put the assertion.
Exactly.
Okay.
So this account payable, where do you see account payable?
Account payable, I think right and obligations.
No. You tell me where you see it. Is it on P&L or statement of financial position?
Statement of financial position.
Exactly. So you use elements under account balances to do your assertions. Asa? Is that clear?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Very well now. Very well.
Okay, let's move on. I thank God that you have trashed it. Maybe you're busy with the same challenge, Bawanka. Let's move on. Question number Ivy.
Question number Ivy. In respect of the potential claim, state 3 items of evidence you should obtain and explain how they might enable you to form a conclusion on the likelihood of the claim being successful.
Okay. So whenever whenever you hear of evidence, what are you talking about?
Copies, proof, copy.
Exactly. Copy. So the claim has happened, and we want to know whether truly the claim, okay, we can conclude that the likelihood of the claim happening. So what do you obtain to be your
lawyer's
evidence?
confirmation.
Copies of what?
The lawyer's confirmation.
Exactly. Whiny. Whiny Kasai. Oh, mention your name. I want to tell you something.
I'm Joyce.
Okay. Oh, Joyce, we read that there. Copies of what? The legal claim from the lawyers. Obtain that. What do you obtain again? What do you get again? Copies of what again?
Copies of management representation.
Okay, someone says something very nice. Copies of what? Medical report. Very nice. Very nice. What again? Can't you also get copies of what?
Report from external person.
Report from external person. Which external person?
Maybe somebody who went to inspect the place. Inspection carried out.
No.
Or a medical doctor. So we're talking about the food poisoning.
An expert.
Exactly. Yes.
You can also judge by how management has responded to the whole issue.
Written representation, copies of
Yes,
written
by management.
Exactly. Copies of their board minutes, notes, copies of their board minutes on that issue. Brothers and sisters, are there any? Yes, please.
How do you gain comfort that the customer actually purchased something from that company?
You can even get a copy of the receipt.
Okay.
Copy of the receipt of the food purchased. I say evidence. Put there copies in Kwa. Men duplicate effort. Copies of Adebia Besumbia copies. Okay, let's work through the solution. Okay, I always say that the solution is not an end to itself. Get the understanding from this side. Okay, that's why when they are done with the ICAG solution, they will issue a certain caveat. They will issue a certain what? Caveat. Is that clear? Okay, let's work through the solution. Then we call it a night. We are really control time. Talk to me. Yes, please.
Just a quick one. You see, if you look at the types of evidence, the items of evidence, for instance, if there was let's say a video recording that shows that the customer purchased a particular item.
Video recording.
Yes, that shows that the customer purchased the item or was at the particular vending and purchased the item. Can that serve as evidence?
Copy. Add copy to it. If you add copy to it, then one. If you get a copy, it's an evidence.
Okay, even though it was formulated within the circles of the entity, can that still be an evidence?
It was formulated within what?
The circles of the entity.
The circles of the entity.
Yes.
Oh, here.
In the sense that, like you said if the
reliability
the
is reliable and kind of thing. We are getting, listen, we are getting the copies, okay, as a form of evidence. We are not concluding that those evidence being obtained are reliable or not reliable. You get it?
Okay.
Yes, we are just obtaining evidence.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it will be based on the conclusion of what the auditor to say, okay, I've done my procedures based on those evidence I've gathered. They are sufficient. They are appropriate. Do you get it?
Okay.
And appropriateness deals with what? Reliability and what as relevant. Do you get it?
Okay.
Do you get it?
Okay, yes.
And
yes, I get it.
evidence is also based on what? It can also based on what? Sufficiency, quantity. So it will based on the bosom of what? It lies in the bosom of what? The auditor. So listen. Notes. Whiny. Notes to the readers. The proposed answers thoroughly approaches to the, is it true or thorough? Which word is that? To the questions are based on an entire range of what marks available. They are not responses that candidates may reasonably what expect to submit within the time constraint. The offer solution should not be viewed as only what? Only out.
Viable option.
Okay.
Viable
Any
option.
option solution analysis, assumption, conclusion, and suggestions may represent only one of what? Many alternative ways. Further, the further solution organization, language, and structure will be. Let's do the solution. I wanted you to see that. So most of the time, the public sector, last night, people were worrying. You told us that bad debt, you're supposed to treat it under this. But when the solution came, they have treated bad debt twice. They send it to goods and services. I said, the solution is not an end to itself. Still, and I told them that one day, the calls were coming plenty. I took 10 minutes. I told them that do the right treatment. It was still balanced. And they did the right treatment and balances. Exactly. So let's walk through the solution and it'll be fine. I think it was even done by Socrates and Forgive, and they are even here. And it balances. So let's walk through this. What we did is November 2021, okay? November 2021. So let's do the past question. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes, we can see.
So this was the question. Have you seen explain? This was the second one I gave you. Now you have seen the year into which microphone solutions, okay? Don't worry. This is the question. So question number 2. The first one is question number 1C. So let's check 1C and 2, the solution. Okay, this is 1C. So have you seen how they answer the question? The audit principles, they gave a wording, okay, product life cycle, and they explain. And I told you that we just pick a phrase because you can't do the wording. Lift a phrase and talk about it. Okay. Then they have talked about a lot of issues, a lot of risk, indicating them. And I think they will add with something. Have you seen they added risk of what? Risk of what?
Overstatement of revenue.
So Rebecca said they turn a class on TV. It's a pure hand. Okay. Have you seen the controls? Overall authority for food what? Purchasing should be in the hands of what? A person. Segregation of what? Segregation of what?
Duty.
Okay. The procedures will be what? Review. Camp organizations what? Organizational structure to identify the person who is responsible for what? The purchasing. Examine. Have you seen the procedures are starting with what? Action words. Action words. Have you seen there should be a list of what? Provided supplies.
Approved supplies.
Okay. So these are the controls you need to do. Okay. For procedures, obtain this, hold that, check, examine. It's supposed to start with an action word. Okay. The third example, regarding to accounts payable, many different assertions has been what? Addressed. Some relevant assertions are set out below. Have you seen right and obligation? Have you seen right and obligation?
Yes.
Have you seen valuation and allocation, existence, completeness, and the rest?
Yes.
Okay. The last issue, evidence. It says that we need to obtain what? A written representation, a copy. I'm saying that whenever you see any evidence, start with a copy. Written what? Representation. Start with a copy. Review the controls, enforce over what? The purchase of food. Ensure that this obtained written report concerning an inspection carried out by what? The company. Obtain a copy. Always start with a copy. Discuss with what matter with what? The company lawyers. So obtain a copy of what the board the lawyers. Okay. Obtain management representation regarding the likelihood of the item will surface or the rest. The other issue is about report. When you do report, you do justice to that. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is James Patrick. My friend I sign up. Good evening.
Yes, Omampeng.
Do you have a question again? Yeah.
Yes.
So take your time. Take your time. Let me tell you something. Take your time. Have you seen that they have given us this issue? We will solve it. Don't worry. Discuss the issue, including an assessment of whether it's material. Here, we are going to do calculation. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Okay.
Whenever you see any materiality, we are going to do calculation before we check whether it's material or not. We are going to solve all those issues. So you just keep calm. When you get there, when you start walking through, it will start what? Coming. Have you seen relevance and reliability? Have you seen the impact of audit? We haven't done that one. Have you seen recommend audit procedure for the team? Whenever you see recommend audit what procedure, you know what you're talking about. So ladies and gentlemen, if no other issues, we call it an evening.
Yes, Omampeng.
Talk to me.
Yes, for the benefit of widows who joined this week, I don't know if we can repost some of the materials for us to have them. I don't know.
I'll do that. I've reposted the video, so I'll do that. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. I hope the discussion has been beneficial.
Yes.
Very, very
very beneficial.
Yeah.